Hey y'all, hey, what's going on? It's Kurt, Great Homes ATL Managing Broker. Everywhere I go, without fail, I always get asked, hey, how's the market? The reality of it is, from my perspective, is simply this. There is a disconnect between the expectations that buyers and sellers have, and those expectations are so far apart. Sellers, what you have to decide is, if this is the market that you choose to list your home, you have to understand that the value today is not the value that it was 3 months ago. And buyers, you have to understand that if you're pre-approved for $500,000, that does not mean you should be out here shopping for and putting offers on homes that are $650,000 and expecting a seller to come down $150,000 on their price. And the misconception is, oh, it's a buyer's market, you can go get an amazing deal. That part is true. I received an offer for a home, and the buyer comes in and presents an offer with $40,000 off of my ask price. In addition to that, they asked for $35,000 in closing costs. Now, come on, somebody's uncle or somebody's cousin or somebody's friend that just got their license and doesn't really know how this works told them that that was a good idea. It's not. The market would be better if people would utilize the services less of armchair realtors or their cousin Pookie, and if they would stop reading into all of the salacious headlines that every other day has people not knowing what to do. As sellers, you have to understand that it doesn't matter if your home appraised 6 months ago for $100,000 more than what a credible, reputable listing broker is telling you it's worth today, because there's a difference between the appraised value and the market value. The appraised value simply tells you that if you were to get a buyer, it would come in at the value based on the appraisal. The current market value is always going to fluctuate based on what I just said. Current market value. That means based on all current market conditions with everything that's going on, economic, etc. That means this is the value that most buyers are typically willing to spend for said home. And so whenever you, as the client or the customer, whenever you want to resist the professional that you're enlisting to take on your home, is usually not going to work out in your favor. You're either going to have your house sit on the market for an endless period of time, and that listing will either get withdrawn, or you're going to end up getting lowball offers anyway, or you will go to a listing broker and they will tell you exactly what you want to hear. If you want $800,000 for your home in a market where it's only going to get you $699, they will list your home, and I promise you, that same broker that promised you that they can get you the price that you told them you wanted, they will come back to you time and time again and continuously say, hey, we need to do a price adjustment, or we need to improve the price. And then at that point, your house is a stale listing. So whatever they lower the price to, any buyer that was eyeing it from the beginning, they are still going to wait until it is in a territory that feels comfortable for them in the current market, and they're going to place an offer based on that. They're not interested about what the home appraised for 6 months ago or even 3 months ago. And so my advice is this to sellers: hire the expert and trust the expertise. If you wanted to list your own home, just do a for sale by owner. That way you could jump out here and you could price it at whatever you want, and you can find out the hard way, I should have listened to the pro. And buyers, I'm not forgetting about you either, because as I mentioned, this is a buyer's market. So you are most likely going to get an amazing deal on the price. And in this market, you are probably going to get, pretty decent amount of seller concession. But here's where there's a huge misconception. We are at a time now where buyers basically are expecting the seller to fix loose doorknob handles, or they're threatening to terminate. That's just not how it's supposed to go. And so the buyer agents out there, you should be advising your clients to have realistic expectations as well. If the seller is already taking a substantial amount of money off the price of their home, still offering amazing seller concessions, and then still even offering to address the major items, especially code related items, anything plumbing, structural, or electrical, you should be advising your client like, hey, this is really a steal. We should take advantage of it. But when you are just so afraid of losing your buyer that you're out here negotiating on their behalf for things that you know are just ridiculous, it makes you look bad. So I understand out here in the industry, we are all trying to do the best thing for our clients, But don't forget, our clients have hired us because we're supposed to be the experts. We're not supposed to be feeding into their madness or their delulu. Like, what are we doing? I've had several co-op agents that have threatened to walk after getting $20,000 in seller concession, home warranty to go with the purchase, and then still addressing some things. I've had buyer agents literally tell me their client was going to terminate if the home, which has already been professionally cleaned after the seller moved out. I've had buyer agents tell me that their client is going to terminate if the seller doesn't have the home professionally cleaned again before they moved in. If you know what you're doing and you know how to make a deal done, that won't even be a point of contention. But that is really what's happening, because people are pressing buttons on Zillow or Realtor.com or wherever it is, and they're getting paired with buyer agents without even really understanding the expertise or the experience that that buyer agent has. And I'm not knocking my colleagues in the industry. I'm just stating what's real. There are a lot of agents out here on the buying side that have no idea how to make a deal get to the closing table. There are buyer agents out here that are just yes men, and when you press the button that you want to see the house, that is them hoping that, oh my goodness, I might be able to get a closing. And buyer agents, you can't let your client run your process. Like, you're supposed to be the professional. You're supposed to be the licensed expert. You're supposed to be able to talk them off the ledge when they're out there talking crazy. You look crazy as a buyer agent to me when you submit an offer, and this is real, when you submit an offer asking for $40,000 off the ask price, and then coming in and saying, and we need $40,000 in seller concession. What that should be telling you is that you have a buyer that is shopping for the wrong house in the wrong price point. That's what you should be telling your buyer. I don't think that we should be looking for this. I don't even think I should show you this home. Instead, there are a lot of thirsty buyer agents out here that are buying their leads. I don't know what else they're doing to get the leads, but they don't even know who they're working with. And it's going both ways. It's customers that don't even know the agents that are representing them. If you are a buyer and you are working with a buyer agent, and you tell that buyer agent, I want the sky to turn green, and they're saying, yeah, we can do that, run, because y'all are both going to be out here wasting each other's time. Because that buyer agent should be doing things like, let me look at the listing history, let me pull the tax records, let me see what this seller has paid for this house, let me see when they purchased the home. Your agent should be going to work to make sure that any offer that you submit should be one that's realistic. The expectations of buyers and sellers, it's so far apart that it's become obnoxious now. And more times than not, I do get the opportunity of working with amazing co-op agents and brokers. They know how to get a deal done. We know how to negotiate. And just so you guys know, I love negotiating. I love the art of making a deal happen. I prefer negotiating in the current market 1,000% more than how the market was a few years ago, where there was no negotiation. It was the highest and best. It was people bidding well above the ask price. A lot of people think that as a broker, that would be the market that I love. I didn't. I love negotiating. I love establishing a relationship with my co-op. I love meeting in the middle. If you find that like each party feels like they took a loss, that's probably the deal. But the market now that we're in is really about nobody wants to feel like they're taking a loss. And I feel like, again, on the seller side, you wouldn't be taking a loss if you would trust the process and the expertise from a credible listing broker. But if you hire somebody that is just going to list a home without any homework, without any type of knowledge about your market, your home, your value, and they're just going to put the sticker price on it because you said that's the sticker price I want, or I'm not going to hire you, run. That's both ways. If you're a seller and you're hiring a listing broker and they come in and they tell you, hey, this is what the home should be listed at, and you guys go back and forth and they end up conceding to what you want and it's dramatically above what they told you, run. Because all you're doing is setting yourself up for that listing broker just to get your business, only to tell you in 2 weeks we need to do a price adjustment. And so let me wrap this up by saying this. Yes, the market is challenging, But I think it's the people in the market that are making it much more challenging than how it needs to be.